Hey, everybody, and welcome to our live. We are super excited. We are going to have a game night. This is the first time we've done this, so I think it's going to be lots of fun. And I do have a special guest who's going to join me. I need to make sure that I do this properly. So we're going to start this off with our virtual studio audience. Let's give a big cheer for Linda Rayburn. I knew you'd do that.
That has the game show feel to it.
I just want to thank everybody for joining us. We have quite a few people in, actually. We have Peggy from Ottawa, Canada. We have Bernadette from Texas. We have Eileen from Sun City, West Arizona. We have people from all over the place: Kentucky, Rochester, New York, Vancouver, Canada, Northern California, North Carolina, Savannah, Georgia. So we appreciate all you guys joining us. And I think we're going to have, it's going to be a little different, but I think we're going to have a little bit of fun, right?
I think so. Yeah, this
Awesome.
should be good.
Awesome. Cool. So anyways, I'm going to start out by showing everybody kind of what's new, because we did have a special announcement last week, and I just want to make sure that everybody is aware of it. But there is a webinar, and this is a free webinar that is actually happening, I think, 8 days, 14 hours, 26 minutes, and 32. No, I don't know exactly what it is. But this is a free webinar for ESA Font Magic. And I asked you, Linda, if you would participate in this webinar, because you, I think, are the queen of ESA fonts.
I
right?
do love your fonts and glyphs. Yes, I think I've tried to take them to the new extreme, but I see you've come up with a couple new ideas. So we haven't shown each other exactly what we're doing, except for the final stitch out. So
yeah, and it's sort of, I think you do inspire me to be better, because I know that I kind of feel like I drop the ball whenever we do something with Linda. I always know that the pressure's on and I got to step up my game a little bit. So I do actually appreciate that. But you have, I guess, from the beginning been like so creative with these object-based fonts. And for those of you who don't know what an ESA font is, it's a embroidery specific alphabet that is specific to the Hatch or Wilcom or the I guess it is the old Janome software, and they are object based. So you can literally play with them in a way I don't think you can play with any other fonts in the embroidery industry.
Oh, I totally agree. You once called them extra special alphabets, so I like to refer to them as that.
Yeah, either way it works. But I know that we did try a few different things, and this is what I love about how you have kind of taken this to the next level, because I did actually do, I guess, line fonts. We have things called flexi fills. We have glyphs. We have flexi shapes. We have, I guess, the applique font. So there's a whole bunch of different ones that we've kind of done along the way. And some of them have been specific requests that you've given me. Like I know the
line fonts. So I wanted the line fonts. So yes. So John listens to you. So if you have ideas for fonts or glyphs, let him know. To work something.
Yeah, or don't let me know. Actually, let Linda know, because she has this gift.
Yeah, and I'll pressure him. I'll put the squeeze on and get him to create some more. So yeah, if you've got ideas of fonts that you'd like to see John create, please put them in the Hatch group and let us know, and we'll see what John can come up with.
We'll get, I think the chain of command kind of works like this. Linda tells Jennifer what she wants, and then Jennifer, because I did look over at Jennifer here, and Jennifer can't hear what we're saying, by the way, Linda. I did this on purpose for this one, because that way, no, I didn't actually. We didn't have the other mic set up. So anyways, if Jennifer has any suggestions based on the comments, she will interject and sort of, but I'll have to sort of, I guess, repeat them so everybody can hear them. But there is 7 different fonts that we're actually covering in this, and they all do slightly different techniques. And we're going to show things that are really popular, because I know this one is a very popular, this raw edge applique right now, and how you can basically, I guess, carve things out within fonts, make them special. We have the key fobs, which I'm doing.
That's what I want to see. How you're going to fill that? I'm interested to do that.
Because I did this one a little different in that it's actually raised, so it has an embossed look.
I'm curious about that.
Yeah, well, like I said, I had to step up my game a little bit.
You did. You're right.
This one here, which you're combining fonts and glyphs with, And then, of course, the glyphs, which are kind of like, I like to call it a design that's assigned to a letter. And for the most part, they're kind of simple. But of course, Linda being Linda, she couldn't just let them be simple. You had to.
If people haven't checked out the glyphs, they need to go to the glyph category on the DME site. These must have thousands of them, and they're so cute. And these are small, but I've got some ideas in the future to make them big, turning them into some stuff. So they're already digitized, so you can just really have fun with them. So
yeah, they are, I guess, pre-created objects or designs that are scalable because they're object based, and because if you have the Hatch software, you can easily, well, I don't know about easily, it does take a little bit of education, which is why you need to attend the webinar, but you can fill them in with colors, and that makes them extra special. And I think I don't know if you're going to cover this, but it looks like some of those could easily be filled in with like a Mylar effect as well.
You absolutely could, yes. Because if the fill is, you could definitely put Mylar behind them. And so I'm going to show about 3 or 4 different techniques because they're not all exactly the same, just based on how the glyph is created. So yeah, the great way to add quick design to your little embroidery project.
Awesome. Now, Jennifer said we did have a question come in.
Yeah, we have a few.
Okay, so we have a couple questions come in before we move on, Linda. Yep.
Okay.
Jenny says, if we have a machine that uses VP3, would that work?
The question was, if they have a machine that uses VP3, would that work? Well, you can still attend the webinar. You can see the amazing things that ESA fonts can do, keeping in mind that it is a font that is specific to the Hatch software, and Hatch does output to VIP VP3. So you can actually create files for any machine type that's out there, but it is the software program that allows you to control the ESA file. So you don't need to own Hatch to sign up for this webinar because it is absolutely free. So even from just an educational standpoint of seeing what can be done with these fonts, I would still suggest you join up for the webinar.
Okay. Jay Sanchez is asking, can the object list scroll along the player to make it easier to follow along in the objects?
Can the object list scroll along the player to make it easier to follow along the objects? I'm guessing, Linda, I'm thinking that he's talking about when you put the little drop down. Yeah. So I don't think so. In the webinar, we will be showing how within a glyph, because a glyph is a design that's assigned a keystroke. And when you go into viewing all of the objects within that ESA font, you do see, by kind of scrolling down, you can see all of the objects that are available and what keystroke they are assigned to.
Yeah.
So
in the insert character tool feature.
Yeah, insert character. So yes, I believe there's a way, if I'm answering that correctly, but again, come to the webinar. It's a free replay. So if you can't attend live, still join up because you can watch it after the fact.
And 2 free fonts you're giving away.
Is there a pack with freestanding lace lettering?
Is there an ESA font pack with freestanding lace lettering?
No,
you know what?
Not, John.
Jennifer, and actually
make one. Or
yeah, there's not, but I do actually. My wheels are turning, and I think I can cheat it in a way. I think I can cheat the system so that they will remain object based, but the lace part will resize. So let me think on that. I've tried to bend the envelope, so to speak, whenever it's come to the fonts, and that's why I think we've done. Now, actually, now other people are kind of recreating what we created. But when we first started this, like 5 or 6 years ago, I started creating ESA fonts, keeping in mind that I did it way back in the commercial days on my old Wilcom software. So that's how I knew how to do it. I knew that the whole process could be more, I guess, engaged, and you could use the tools in the software instead of just having a standard lettering, like an A that stitches this way and down this way with a bar down the middle. I knew there was other things that we could do with the tools in the software because it is so advanced, being object-based, and that's where we really did push this whole thing. So another question, but I'll work on that lace font.
That won't let them forget that.
Kate is asking, she's seen you use a font that had caps and lowercase the same size. Will you digitize that one?
Caps and lowercase the same size. I'm not sure. The cool thing about it is the ESA fonts, because they are object based, you can actually go in. You can actually go in and you can edit those files. But anyways, I think we should probably tie up the ESA talk for a little while, because I do want to get onto the game show, and I don't want to. But if you do come to the webinar, because it is a webinar, you can ask all your questions there, and we'll be happy to answer all your ESA questions.
And we have 2 free fonts.
Oh, yeah, and actually you do, just so you know, you get 2 free fonts when you sign up. So when you sign up for the webinar, it's absolutely free. There's no cost. You get 2 free fonts, and yeah, it's going to be a great fun time. So I suggest you guys do that. The only other thing that I wanted to let you guys know about is our St. Patty's Day sale, which is on right now. And this is just a quick little, I guess, visual of the St. Patrick's Day designs that we released over the last, I guess, 4 weeks or so. So all of those are available, as well as I think 113 other St. Patrick's Day designs that we have. They're all 51% off. And our Easter designs, which we have just released over the last 2 weeks, which are also on sale right now. And these are some new ones. This one is great for kids wear, all that good stuff, tote bags. This one, now there is probably a certain crowd for this. Would you agree, Linda?
Yes.
Okay. And the crowd might look a little bit more like me than it would you. Would you say that?
Probably.
Probably. Okay.
There's something for everyone.
Yeah, there is something, and everybody knows I have this thing for skulls, and Jennifer doesn't let me do many skulls, so I had to sneak some in to Easter just to have fun. So this is actually Goth Easter, and then we have this one, which I know everybody loves. I mean, everybody has.
I love. These are my favorite. Yep.
Yeah, so put a few skulls on those trucks, and I'm in too.
There you go.
But anyways, the reason why I'm showing these, not only because they're on sale, but we are going to, during the time of our embroidery trivia night, we're going to do some giveaways, of course. And I thought the cool thing to do would be to give away, let's say, 2 people on YouTube, 2 people on Facebook are going to win. It's going to be a kind of a random selection. It'll be towards the end of the trivia night, but to enter, you simply have to participate. So, we'll be watching, and if you participate, I should also mention as well that in any hobby or in anything you learn in life, everybody not usually, but everybody starts at the beginning. Right? Everybody starts at the beginning. For me, it was a little earlier than most people, because I was kind of born into this industry, and I remember, like gluing little tabs of the marrows onto the back of the crest when I was 5 years old, and I got a penny a piece. So I started my career at age 5, but a lot of other people might have been a little later than that. But you learn all of these terms, and you learn this step by step. So if you are like Linda and you know absolutely everything.
No, I don't. No, I've really only been doing machine embroidery about 8 years. I got my machine, and then I picked up Hatch about 7 years ago when it first came out, and joined Facebook to learn all about machine embroidery and Hatch from John. So
awesome.
I'm sure there's lots of new people, and there's plenty of new people come in our groups all the time. So it's just a fabulous hobby. You can start small and end big, or vice versa. There's just so much to do. It's fun.
And here's the beautiful part of it. I mean, I have my area of expertise, which is maybe the technical digitizing part, but you hands down are far more creative than I am when it comes to taking the designs, and even the stuff you're doodling and digitizing is just awesome. So I just want everybody to know that some of these trivia questions might seem a little bit elementary if you've been doing this for a while, but let's be patient with all the new people getting into this, because if I heard the word, let's say hoop burn 25 years ago, and you weren't involved in machine embroidery, I might think it has something to do with a basketball hoop and burning myself with a lighter, or fabric stash. I mean, that was a new one for me when I entered the home industry, because I didn't know what a stash was in that pretext.
Yeah, I've had a stash for quite a while, so I would probably get that one right away.
Awesome. Okay, so question number 1, and everybody please participate. Okay, so question 1, what does the term hoop refer to? Is it A, a type of stitch, B, the frame used to secure fabric in the embroidery machine, C, the speed setting of the embroidery machine, or D, the embroidery thread color palette? So if everybody wants to just type in there which answer you think it is, and actually I need to go up to my, oops, I didn't want to do that. Darn. Okay. Well, I guess now I have to, but I was trying to get up to my comments so I could see the comments. But which one would you say it is?
I would
Linda?
say B.
Yeah. And you know what? You are exactly right. Well, I can't do two things
Can I
at the
get
same time.
$100?
You get a free design, whichever design you want. See, the thing is, Linda pretty much has a unlimited pass on our designs. So
I have a pretty good stash of design
awesome.
and ESA fonts for sure.
Okay, did we have some people guess, Jennifer? Were they guessing on B? Awesome, perfect. So yeah, people are playing along. Okay, this is
good
cool.
because I can't see the scroll either. So
yeah, and Jennifer said everybody who types in your answer, that you all get a choice to win near the end. Okay, a chance. Yeah, a chance. But you will get a chance, but you will get to choose the design pack you want. So we're both right. Will you agree to that, Jennifer? No, she doesn't. Okay, so do you want to do number 2, Linda?
Sure. What is the purpose of stabilizer in machine embroidery? A, adds shine to the embroidery design. B, increases embroidery machine speed. C, prevents fabric from moving. And D, changes the embroidery needle size.
Okay, type it in, guys. Now this one, I'm guessing you know the answer to this one too, don't you, Linda?
I'm hoping.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of hoping too, because I do think that it could possibly go into 2 areas. I think if you use the appropriate stabilizer on a design, you could increase the speed of your machine.
You could.
So that could be one, but I think that the right answer is C. It prevents your fabric from moving. And that's why there is many different types of stabilizers. Some are fusible, right? So that way you can even further reduce. And we could do a whole, I guess, trivia on hooping alone, I think.
That is always the popular topic in all of our Facebook groups, for sure. Huge topic.
And I know Linda and I were actually kind of diving into this because we did go over for a few minutes what we'd be covering during this. And I think it might be good to maybe do some little bit of deep dives into some subjects in future lives.
Especially stabilizers. I will say that's a big question.
Agreed. If you guys agree with that, give us some thumbs up or type in I agree. But if you'd like us to do something specifically on stabilizer, let us know. Okay, question number 3. What does the term digitizing mean in the context of machine embroidery? A, changing thread colors during embroidery. B, converting a design to a format readable by the embroidery machine. C, cleaning and maintaining your embroidery machine. Or D, adjusting the tension of the embroidery machine. Well, if I get this one wrong, I'm in trouble.
You go to the bottom of the class.
Yeah, embroidery.
I bet a lot of people will get this one right.
Yeah. Seeing that our website is called Digitizing Made Easy, based off of a book that I wrote 20 something years ago when my hair was brown, the answer is, B. So B, it's converting a design to a readable format for your embroidery machine. And that's what digitizing software is all about. And that is what I think is one of the funnest aspects of machine embroidery, when you can create your own designs. Jennifer, did you have a question?
Yes, just letting people know we'll be posting the related blogs at the end if they want to learn more.
Okay, awesome. So what Jennifer just said, if you didn't hear, is Beth and James will be posting the related blogs to all of these questions at the end of this. So if you have anyone that you want to find out more information about, you can just click on that blog and there'll be lots more information there. Okay, and odds are, Linda, you probably will have participated in some of those blogs as well. Okay, so number 4, it's your turn.
What is the function of the bobbin? Holds the embroidery thread, stabilizes the hoop, supports the fabric during embroidery, or provides tension to the up thread?
Okay. What does everybody think? This one is kind of tricky because this one could cross over to multiple answers as well.
Yes, I would say there could be 2 answers.
There was actually a couple of questions that I didn't put in here because I thought they were not only a little more advanced, but B, there is multiple answers to the question. There's no one right answer. But this one here, it is to provide tension to the upper thread, because you always have to remember that an embroidery machine creates a stitch, and a stitch lays flat when there's tension being drawn on both of the upper and lower threads, and that bobbin pulls that thread underneath so that you don't see you don't see the bobbin thread on the top unless your bobbin tension's wrong, but you should see the top thread only showing. Anything you would add to that as well?
There is a blog on adjusting bobbin tension.
Awesome. And that one will probably be posted. Now, the next one, and I'm glad this one's a little shorter too, because I was just looking at these questions, and your last one was much shorter than my other one. So I was like, I should have gone evens instead of odds. But question number 5. What factor is crucial for achieving good tension in machine embroidery? A, thread color, B, fabric type, B, bobbin size, or D, thread tension adjustment? So what factor is crucial for achieving good tension in machine embroidery? And this one could also have a couple of different answers, but the correct one is that you would want to make sure that your thread tension adjustment is set correctly for, and that's the tension on the top thread. So we just talked about the bobbin. Now we're going from the bobbin to the top. So I know when digitizing, actually, I got to be quiet because it's going to go into a question that's coming up. I'm going to give away answers coming up. So anything to add to that one, Linda?
Nope, I think you got that one covered.
Okay, yeah. And if your tensions aren't good on your machine, your design's not going to look good or run well.
That's right.
And I think we just posted one on bird's nests, and a lot of things that happen with bird's nests, I find are a lot to do with bobbin tensions being way too loose. So you can really create bird's nests if your bobbin tension, or if you forget to put the bobbin in your machine.
Oh, yeah, I've done that. That's really bad.
If you've done that before, give us some thumbs up. I know. Yeah. Just let us know if you've done that, because that is the best way to create a bird's nest on your machine, is just forget to put that bobbin in altogether, and you'll have a nice tangled up mess underneath. Okay, this one's your turn.
All right. What does the term applique mean in the context of machine embroidery? A, a type of embroidery stitch. B, adding decorative fabric to the design. C, embroidering text on a garment. Or D, thread trimming technique.
Okay. This one's kind of tricky too, because I mean,
go a couple of different ways on that.
Yeah, I think that they
there's
almost
one true answer, one real answer.
And that's obviously which one?
Which would be B.
That one is B. But if you think about it, having a decorative material is the first step of it, but you do have to trim away that material. So D.
You do, yeah.
And you actually have a type of embroidery stitch. You can actually have an applique with an E-stitch, blanket stitch, or you can have motifs, or you can do all kinds of different things. So that one, again, kind of multiple potential answers to it. Number 7, what does the term stitch count refer to in machine embroidery? A, the number of colors in an embroidery design. B, the number of stitches in an embroidery design. C, the thickness of the embroidery thread. Or D, the size of the embroidery hoop. Now, stitch count is obviously going to be letter B. The stitch count of a design is how many stitches are actually in that design. A lot of people do get confused, though, because when you see a stitch count on your, software, and then you see it on the machine, it might say 22 minutes or something to run that design. But then you come back 30 minutes later and the machine's still running. Have you ever had that? And what people don't realize is a lot of times with a lot of machines, the stitch count might be 30,000 stitches, but machines have a tendency to slow down when the stitch length
my
gets
single
longer.
needle definitely slows down.
Yeah, some machines don't. You have the ZSK as well. That one just goes fast all the time. But also, if there's a lot of trims or jumps in a design, your machine has to slow down and stop and do all that good stuff. So that can vary as far as the amount of time that it takes on your machine. So there's a few different factors. Any other question, Jennifer? You're good. Okay, so this one's yours.
Which factors should be considered when selecting thread for an embroidery project? A, thread color only. B, brand popularity. C, fabric type and project requirements. And D, thread length.
Okay, which one do you think this one is, Linda? It could be this one's all.
I like the A and the C, so I think it just depends on what I'm working on. But
yeah, I would agree with you, and I think C, the fabric type and the project requirements. And with this one, when I was kind of saying which is the right answer, it was a little bit hard because we could do a whole live about threads as well, because there's different weights. There's different weights of threads.
Playing with and people really should experiment, get outside of the 40 weight. And if you can pick up some, the 60 weight for fine stitching, or I've been using a lot of the 12 weight, which is the Vermilana. So that has a kind of a yarny, like hand stitched look. So kind of jump out and try some different threads if you have an opportunity.
For sure. And I do think if we ever did something on thread, also, looking at the quality of a thread, like a brand popularity, which could be equated to the quality. Some threads are not manufactured very well.
No, they're not.
They can actually over time cause some machine issues. I mean, that's just, because you have a thread that is inconsistent going through all of your tension gauges. It's going to put wear on those tension wheels and certain. So anyways, there's lots of things that could happen over time. And that's why I do think finding a quality brand of thread that runs well on your machine.
Important. It's worth the little bit more that you'll pay. So for sure. That's what I found. I probably all name brand threads.
Yeah. And I usually go the same route that you do. I like the quality brands. You pay a little more, but it is more consistent. Okay, so question, what is underlay? Okay, hold on, I gotta start again. A layer beneath the fabric during embroidery, a technique for blending thread colors, C, stitches added to provide stability to enhance design definition, or D, the process of creating 3D embroidery designs. Now, this one could be crossing over into other areas as well, because you will use different underlay techniques for creating 3D designs and lace designs and all that good stuff. But for the most part, it's to provide stability and to enhance your design definition. Underlay, I used to joke when I did events that were live, I'd always say, you always should have underlay for an embroidery, just like you should always wear underwear when you go out to, anyway, but it's underlay is a foundation, and it's a foundation. We could do a whole live on underlay.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, global underlay. A lot of people, when I mention global underlay, they don't really know what I mean by that, because it is not an underlay that's defined in your settings in your software. And I'm not going to go into that, because maybe we'll save that for a live in the future. But there's ways to use underlay to make designs run better on your machine. So number 10.
What does the term pull compensation refer to? This is always asked in our group. So adjusting thread tension for specific fabrics, compensating for the fabric's natural pull during embroidery, adding extra stitches to increase design density, and changing the embroidery machine needle size.
Awesome. So everybody take a minute, just type in the answer that you think it is. This is probably with regards to digital.
This and stabilizer, I think, are your two biggies right here.
Yeah, and when learning how to digitize, this one is actually probably one of the biggest, the pull compensation issue. I just had a question come by email, I think it was this morning, where somebody asked, could I give them kind of a recipe chart on pull compensation so they could understand it better? And I kind of politely replied back, well, that's not really possible, because there's so many variables for pull compensation.
But level 3 of your Digitizing Dream course, you just totally focus on underlay for odd shapes going under satin stitches, all the pull comp, and all the things you need to do to get your designs stitching with really pretty registration. So level 3, if you haven't tried it, I highly recommend it.
And now the kids will probably have to put in a link for the Digitizing Dream course, because
I'm keeping it.
I always say to people that we called our site Digitizing Made Easy, and that's what I named my book. But it is easier when you have somebody teach you the foundation, but I didn't say that, digitizing was going to be fast. You know what I mean? There is a learning curve.
It's fun.
It's fun. Yeah. So anyways, the answer is B, compensating for the fabric's natural pull during embroidery. And you have to remember that different fabrics will pull differently, because denim has a lot less stretch than PK knit does. And the list goes, on and on as far as that. So every fabric type, those rules can change. Question 11, when is thread blending commonly used? A, to create gradient effects using different thread colors. B, adding metallic threads for a shiny finish. C, reinforcing stitches for durability. Or D, stitching complex lettering in embroidery designs. And this one, if you have typed in A, you have it correct. Blending techniques, gradient techniques. There are, in most software brands, there is the ability to do automated grading now, where you can control how much it grades, the kind of wave of gradation. You can have gradients on kind of like curves and all that good stuff. But a lot of what I do like to teach is manual grading, which the design doodler, which doesn't have any fancy bells and whistles. The gradients that I've seen in our group, the design.
Oh my gosh, the designs people are posting recently are just blowing me away. They're just
it's incredible,
it's really fun to see how you asked me to kind of test it before you launched it, but just to see how far it's come and how people have just taken their own creativity to a whole new level. It's just really exciting to see.
For sure. I mean, I love seeing that people using the most simplest tool are able to create natural blending techniques that a software program that mathematically would create all the, stitches, algorithms within an object. In my opinion, you doing it by hand looks 10 times better than a program doing it in an automated effect. So so a little plug for the design doodler. If you haven't tried it. Yeah. Okay. So question number 12.
So what is the significance of push and pull compensation? A, minimizes distortion caused by fabric movement during embroidery. Adjusts the push and pull factors of the embroidery machine. C, enhances the visibility of embroidery designs. And D, determines the order of stitch execution in a design.
Okay. And
this is another question. You could have a whole bunch of long.
Yeah, it was hard to do these. And I have to give credit to Beth Deere, because Beth was the one who went in here. And, of course, embroidery is in my family's blood. So that she was able to do all of these, I'm really proud of her. But yeah, when you get into the details of this, we could go into a lot of layers of the onion. But this one here is it minimizes the distortion that is caused by fabric movement during embroidery. And I think that's what a lot of people, when they're creating designs, they don't realize that, you're dealing with fabric that has movement. You're dealing with a top thread that has tension being drawn. You're dealing with a bobbin that has tension being drawn. And you have stitches that are flowing in different directions all at the same time. So you're basically taking that fabric and causing it to twist and turn. And then you're trying to, make it look good when it sews out on a machine. So that's the fun part of it. Anyways, when I start talking about digitizing, it gets, I get excited. So we have a couple more questions. I think there's 3 more questions to do. If everybody has enjoyed this, we'll do another one in the future. Linda, if you're available, I'd love it if you join me.
Sure. No, this has been fun. Yeah, it's a little bit different. I like the game aspect of it.
Cool. So we have 3 more questions, and then I have enough questions to do a part B if anybody wants to participate. Like I said, I don't want to go on too long. I was saying to Jennifer, actually, Jennifer said to me, and I think I said to you, so I'm going to take this as my idea when really it was Jennifer's in the first place, was that, having a live that lasts like an hour and a half, it's getting a little kind of out there. I'd rather shorten them down a little bit, because I have a hard time sitting still for that long. So I'm sure everybody else does as well. So we'll break these into some smaller bite-sized pieces. But the next question is 13. What is the purpose of color mapping? So color mapping. A, assigning specific colors to embroidery thread brands. B, mapping the color sequence for efficient thread changes. C, creating a visual representation of the embroidery design. Or D, adjusting the color balance of the final embroidered piece. Now, this one could have multiple answers as well. I mean, let's, because kind of all of them do work almost in conjunction with the exception of one, but I think it is B, mapping the color sequence for efficient thread changes. When you get into mapping, and this is something where, again, we could do a whole series on this, a lot of people will ask me, in some of my detailed designs, even though there might be 8 colors, how come there is 26 color changes? You know what I mean? And it drives people crazy, and I know it does, because they take the design and then they sew it out and they post it in the group and they said, John Deere has no idea what he's doing, and look at how terrible everything, nothing lined up. And then usually my first question is, did you do anything to the design? And what ends up coming back is they tell me, well, 28 color changes, that's just way too many color changes. I don't have patience for that. So I color sorted it in my software and got it down to 8 colors. And that is the problem, because a digitizer who understands, so far we've talked about pull compensation. When you understand all of that movement that's going on in your design, you need to adjust your colors to finish areas before you move on to the next one dimensionally. So that's where, I mean, unnecessary color changes are definitely bad, but if somebody knows what they're doing, sometimes they're there on purpose. Would you agree with that?
I would agree. And if you color sort and then you come back and you said, oh, this doesn't look right, well, you just wasted all that time stitching only those 8 colors versus taking the time to do the color changes and get a design that's beautiful in the end. So
yeah. And the bigger the design, the more detailed the design, generally the more color mapping is involved. You have to get in there and kind of dive into little segments of the design and finish them off dimensionally. So, okay, number 14, and then we have one more after this and we are done. So go ahead.
What is the role of auto digitizing? Automatically adjusting thread tension during embroidery. B, controlling the speed of the embroidery machine. C, creating complex lettering in embroidery designs. And D, converting bitmap images into embroidery designs.
Okay. And what do you think the answer to this one is, Linda?
It's D with mixed results.
Okay.
Auto digitizing is, and you do have, there are like 3 videos on your YouTube channel showing the pros and cons of auto digitizing. But depending on the artwork and how complex, we get that posted in the group a lot too. Why don't my letters look like that? Or, all the details aren't there, and it's what you put in is what you put out. So
actually, that is, you just said it. You hit the nail on the head with that. Usually with auto digitizing is garbage in, garbage out a lot of the times. And it doesn't necessarily mean that the design or the artwork is garbage. It means that the artwork is not friendly for embroidery. Because somebody who creates artwork for any other medium other than embroidery is just using ink, and there's no textile weight of ink. I mean, you can make a really thin line, you can do blending, you can do everything, but we're not using ink. In a way we are, because we have dyed thread, right? We're using a physical medium, and that actually it needs to convert properly. So I think auto digitizing does have its place. I mean, you can do things really quickly, and sometimes it can be really good and effective. Other times it's, terrible. But the best part of auto digitizing is if you want to do something for a friend that you really don't like that much, you do it in auto digitizing.
Yeah. Or you can see approximately how many stitches are in your design. And yeah,
it's a great stitch estimator, which I have told people in classes in the old days. I said, if you're going to use auto digitizing for anything, you need to estimate stitch counts of designs, because it will give you you wouldn't want to sew them or sell them or do anything.
Good, parameters.
Okay, so this is the last question, question number 15.
Come on.
What is the significance of thread break detection in advanced embroidery machines? A, automatically stopping the machine when thread breaks occur. B, enhancing the sheen of metallic embroidery thread. C, adjusting thread tensions based on fabric type. Or D, analyzing the color palette of an embroidery design. Well, I think this one hopefully is kind of common sense. It is, of course, A. And this is coming from a guy who I saw when thread trimmers actually became an option in embroidery machines, because in the Shifley days we didn't have trimmers, and even when we got our first multi head machines, we had we had an old single head Ultramatic that we did all of our sampling on originally. It looked like a big sewing machine, and it had actually a pulley underneath that you cranked the wheel to adjust the speed of the machine as it was sewing.
Wow.
But we had to create designs knowing that you could not trim threads. So the way we mapped things in the old days was always thinking ahead, making sure we didn't go over things that had already jumped and trimmed, because you didn't want to pick out the stitches. And tell me in the comments if you've ever had a machine where your trimmer broke, your trimmer didn't trim anymore, and you ran a design and you had to pick out 1 million threads from that design. Has that happened to you, Linda?
Yes. Yeah. And in fact, a couple of people have been posting about trimming questions in the group too. So yeah, all these questions are kind of spot on. So
yeah, there definitely has to be a little bit of logic. I often thought that eventually what I want to do is a little video series. Maybe we'll do this live, I'm not sure, but where I actually go back to my early days when I was a Shifley puncher and talk about the difference in how we created designs for a 10-yard loom running hundreds of pieces of embroidery.
I would love that. Yeah, that would be really fascinating.
I don't have many photos, but I could come up with some visuals, I think, that would explain it. But I've been thinking about that whole process more and more lately, because this industry, I mean, I don't know if you saw the video that I did from the ISS show.
Oh my God, the equipment's crazy. My goodness. Yeah.
It was insane seeing how much this industry has evolved. And I know that those are commercial machines, but now we have machines in the home industry that, to be honest, don't do things that the commercial machines do.
Yeah.
Like machines with cameras and all kinds of stuff. So anyways, if you guys enjoyed this little series, let us know, put it in the comments. We are going to pick a couple winners right now. If everybody wants to kind of, I'm talking to the team over here. I'm not talking to myself, Linda, don't worry. But if we want to get a couple of winners ready, we got them? Okay, awesome. So Jennifer, if you could come over and just come a little closer. Do not come in the camera's view. Whatever you do, not come in the camera's view.
Come on.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, we have Facebook and YouTube. Who do you want first?
Facebook. 2 winners in Facebook.
Okay, Facebook winners. The names I have are Michael Bernhardt.
Michael Bernhardt from Facebook.
The next Facebook winner is Favette Charles.
Favette Charles. Awesome. Well, congratulations. And what you are going to win, if you go onto our website to the new releases, you can choose any of the new packs that we've released, the ones that I showed you earlier, whether it is the Easter trucks, the Easter goth, the Easter kids pack, whatever it is. If you want St. Patrick's Day designs, you will just send an email, correct?
Yes.
So send an email to us, contact@embroiderylegacy.com. And we will make sure you get your designs. And now we have YouTube, 2 winners.
Yes, the YouTube names I have is Juan Garcia de Jesus.
Juan Garcia de Jesus.
And Jelaine Honeysuckle.
And
I'm probably saying it wrong.
Okay.
Jelaine Honeysuckle.
Jelaine. Okay, I had to make sure I got the Jelaine. So Jelaine Honeysuckle, and that's an awesome name. I could say that name over and over again, actually. So,
congratulations.
Okay, if you're yeah. So anyways, thank you guys. And again, from YouTube, just please reach out to us at contact@embroiderylegacy.com, and we'll be sure to get you your free designs. I hope you guys all enjoyed playing, and I do want to invite you to all try the free trial of the Design Doodler. You can play with it. You can download it on your iPad. You can take our lessons. The only thing you can't do is save your work or your files until you get the paid version, but it will show you all of it. And like anything, watch the little videos first, because it will explain all the tools and widgets and all stuff there. But it's an awesome program, and I am just amazed with I'm not even going to call it embroidery designs. I'm amazed with the art.
They're just all really artistic. I mean, everybody has taken their own spin on it. So if you haven't joined the doodling group and you want to know more, please join us and scroll through the photos in the group. You will just be, you can't believe that you can draw on an iPad or on a pen monitor and turn it into a beautiful embroidery and further embellish it with other materials and yarn and pencils. It's quite fun.
I will add, because I was very, very involved in the initial stages when we designed the functionality of the Design Doodler. And I did go back to my early days as a puncher, because I only had one stitch. It was, mechanically one stitch at a time. And I think the Design Doodler, even if somebody is just learning, the fail-safe tools that are automatically built in will let people run good designs on their machine without having a huge learning curve. But if you do know what you're doing, there is the ability to turn off a lot of the autopilot features, so to speak, and you can get as precise as you want. So that's
you did that, and in these trial lessons, you really did kind of go off grid and manual, especially with the koi fish and the applique. That was a little bit different technique. So
and I understand. I mean, some people do get if you've never digitized before and you get to those two lessons, some people are kind of like, whoa, this is overload for me. But like anything, we learn in usually a sequence and at a pace. And even if it doesn't make sense now, once you get into it 6 months from now, after you've created all kinds of beautiful things, then the light bulbs go off. You get that moment where everything. So anyways, I wanted to thank you guys. And of course, we thank you guys for always joining us on social media. I am amazed that we can do stuff like this, have a Facebook Live and YouTube. And we are growing on Instagram, Pinterest. And we have, I think, 4 different groups now, or 3 different groups. I guess there might be one more coming soon. But anyways, we have 3 different groups right now. And we just really appreciate all you. Any parting words, Linda?
No, I'll ask your questions in any of these groups, and I'm happy to jump in. And please sign up for the ESA webinar. This will be my first go at that, so I need some encouragement with people support. I'm a little nervous about it, but
I know you're going to do great, and there is still some space. We actually are getting close to being filled up. I think we're at about the 72 or 3% full area, which is awesome. And I'm not going to pat myself on the back too much because it's free. So, but I think people will have a lot of fun, and they're going to be super happy they joined. And if you do have Hatch, then again, you're getting 2 free ESA fonts. So it's a win-win.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate your joining me for this. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. And we'll see you next time.
See you later.
Okay. Bye-bye.